Everyone, welcome to your weekly edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Urbonis and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So every Tuesday at noon, I have a fun new video for you where I get to show you a new product or a project that I have been working on, and I walk you through how to create it. So as we go, just so you guys know, I will give you all the measurements for the projects. I'll tell you what supplies I used, but if you're watching this on replay or if you need to catch something and you've missed it, I have also listed those information pieces in the description on the video so you can follow along with me. So today's card, I wanted to make something special because it is now February 2024 and Valentine's Day is coming up next week. So next week we're going to make like a quick little easy Valentine's card, something that you can, if you need something last minute, you can quickly put together using some of the pieces that we're going to have left over from today's cards. But for this week, I have these beautiful cards to showcase for you, and as I was designing, I couldn't really decide which color I liked best, so I made them in 3 different color schemes, but of course I'm only going to demonstrate one and you can recreate whichever one you like. So if you're interested, this one here is Boho Blue, we have Pretty Peacock, and Real Red. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 of these away and just move them out of my shot, and we'll get going. So I will warn you, this is a little more in-depth of a project, but you can see it is just so stunning and it's really, really pretty for whoever you want to give it to. So let me walk you through how to make this. Okay, let's focus you. There we go. Okay, so to start, we're going to need to grab a bundle that is in our January to April mini catalog. So that bundle is called the Adoring Hearts Stamp Set. And then there's also a coordinating Adoring Hearts Hybrid Embossing Folder that comes with a die. So I have gotten asked this question quite a bit. So I'm going to pull out my catalog and show you where to find this information. So you're in the January to April mini catalog, this one right here with the ice cream on the front, and we're going to page 18. So you can clearly see this nice beautiful bundle, but then here's where a lot of people get confused. They're like, well, I can see the stamp set, I can see something that says Hybrid Embossing Folder, and I can see bundle, but I don't see somewhere that says dies. So just so you guys know, when it says Hybrid Embossing Folder, it actually comes both with the embossing folder as well as this large die and all these little dies that are in my case here. Okay, so that Hybrid Embossing Folder comes with all of those pieces so that you can make and recreate all of the projects that you kind of see showcased on here. So here's a beautiful spread. We see that large die, and then there's also all those little ones that I showed you with the finer details too. Okay, so if you want to purchase this as an entire bundle, it will cost you $73.75. You get the stamp, you get the embossing folder, you get all the dies, or you can buy things independently and just get the embossing folder and dies or the stamp set. So just to clear that up for you, that is the bundle that I'm using. And then the paper that I've chosen is one of our free celebration items. So those are available until the end of February while supplies last. This is called the Most Adored Specialty Designer Series paper. And the fun thing about this paper is, unfortunately, I've used most of it because I am also doing this card at my February monthly club. So if you would like a kit, just let me know. They are $15 or free with a $35 order. So my website's at the bottom, laurenurbonus.stampinup.net. Any order you place this month, you will get a set of my monthly card club cards for free. And there's 3 cards in there, just different designs and stuff. And this is a sneak peek into one of them. So fun paper. It's gorgeously pretty. Look how it glitters. This is just all I have left. and the back side is fun kind of Valentine's-y patterns. So if you need Valentines, this is perfect. If you just need some kind of base gold, this is also really versatile for that too. So I'm using that paper. It's available as a freebie while supplies last. And usually our specialty paper is about $21. So that's a really, really good value for you. I'm going to move that out of our way and move this out of our way. Okay, let's begin. We are going to start with a piece of cardstock that measures 6 inches by 12 inches. And you're probably sitting here thinking, Lauren, our standard cardstock is 8.5 by 11. How do I get a 12-inch long paper? So here's a little secret that I couldn't really find in the catalog. We have basic white 12 by 12 cardstock. If you go online and type in basic white, this will be presented to you as one of the options that you can purchase. Now I could easily find the 12 by 12 like color family packs where you get kind of 2 of each of the colors in that family, regals, brights, subtles, neutrals. And correct me, somebody help me, because I couldn't find this in the catalog. So maybe it's just in one of our online exclusive areas, but we have basic white 12 by 12 cardstock. So that's how we're gonna make this card base. If you don't have this, you can definitely pare down the card a little bit and make it with your 11-inch. But the reason I did the 12 is I wanted to showcase that full plethora of my hearts. So your card might look a little different if you switch this up, okay? So we're gonna grab that. We're gonna grab our 12 by 12 piece. And of course, so it's 6 by 12. We're putting a score mark down here in the middle at 6 inches and folding this in half. This is going to be our nice sturdy base. And then you have the choice right now of having it fold up or turning it and having it fold open. Okay, so either way will look beautiful. I made mine fold up this time just because I thought it was really fun, but it's completely up to you. Okay, so I'm gonna make mine fold up. Next, what I need is some gold foil. Now, these gold foil sheets, if you are in my house, they are very, very well used. I never really give somebody a full sheet of gold foil without first taking some dies to it and chopping pieces out for later. So these die images that you see cut out of my gold have nothing to do with today's card. In fact, lots of them are sitting in little bins like this, and I haven't decided what to do with them yet. But when I'm prepping cards for all of you, it would be a really big waste for me to just get rid of all of this gold. So this gold foil is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And you can see here, we're really only using the tiniest of the edge to show through. So you can chop anything from the middle of this that you want. So that's what I did. Now I'm going to attach this to my base with a flat adhesive. Okay, so I've chopped out the middle and I'll use those later. I just don't like things going to waste. And gold foil can be expensive. It's like $7 for 2 sheets, which is not bad if you use it to its full potential. But otherwise, I'm really only getting like 4 of these cards out of 1 sheet, and that can add up. Okie dokie. This guy just should have a slight white border around it. Whatever you're comfortable with is good to go. Now you get to play with a piece of designer series paper. So you can go to that package and pick whatever design you like. So this one I thought looked kind of fun. There's definitely ones with flowers, the small flowers. This one has the large flowers, and this one has some kind of stripes. But I figured we can use any of those alternatives and make a card from it. So of course, you could flip it over, but it would probably clash with your red, so you'd want this with a different cardstock on top. So I'm putting this on again with a flat adhesive. This piece you cannot cut anything out of because you're seeing most of it pop through your card. It's going to be used as our like background feature. So don't cut anything out of it. You need to add the whole thing and it will look beautiful. I picked the gold foil behind because this paper has the gold feature in it. So they blend really nicely. We'll go that way. And there should just be a tiny, oh, I didn't tell you how big this was. This should be 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. I'm just wondering, this one has the teeniest of tiny borders. Okay. I was very skinny in that one. There we go. Okay, next we're ready for a piece of cardstock. So this cardstock here, we're going to cut at 5 1/2 by 5 1/2, but we need to do a little bit of cutting and embossing on it. So move your base out of the way, and you need to grab your cut and emboss machine and these two pieces from your hybrid folder set. Okay, so let me get my machine set up here. So this folder is really fun because you can actually do the embossing and the cutting at the same time. So do we see these little ridges around the hearts? We're going to just take our heart folder and nestle it in so that it's flat. Okay, it should be fully kind of encompassing these hearts. And then we're going to take our red cardstock and put this on top of this area. Okay, now I do always flip this over and just kind of eyeball and make sure that all of my hearts are within that red border. I haven't accidentally moved something and chopped one of them off. So I'm going to fold this down and I'm going to run this now through my machine. So it will both emboss and cut those hearts out for me as I do this. And when you run this through, you'll need the 3D embossing plate. So I'm going to put that down. I'll show you all of that. Okay, so that means you need your standard platform, number 1. And then you need your thick embossing plate. So if you have bought this machine recently, your plate will be gray and it will probably actually have a number 4 on it. I bought this when it was first released, so it's blue or purple, and but it's the same thing, same thickness, so don't stress if you get one and it's this color. Okay, we're going to take this and set it on top of our platform, and then we're going to set our plate, make a sandwich, and roll this through. Okay. Always tricky to have everything on the table here. Okay, now when you open this up, you will have one nice base that has these beautiful hearts embossed on it, and all of those heart spaces have been cut out. And then you have a bunch of these embossed little hearts. So there's, I think, 3 different patterns in there. We're really only going to use one of these hearts on our project in the future today. But like I mentioned, come back next week because we're going to use more of the hearts on a different project. Okay? And then this can just get put away. You will eventually have, you know, some of these pressure points, and you can see the color kind of builds up. But I have literally run this through at least 100 times already, and it's nowhere near being worn. It doesn't press in enough to break your folder. If you were to do this without paper, it probably would start wrecking things on you, but there's really no point doing that, so don't do it. Okay, here's my piece. That is what I'm going to use now on my base. And you could nicely, I made the dimensions so you could kind of fit it in the middle if you want, or if you want to get funky, you can kind of just twist it off kilter, teeny tiny bit, and it'll kind of make your project come to life. So to attach this, I'm going to turn this over for a moment and put dimensionals all over the back here. So you do want quite a few dimensionals because this is a very hefty piece of paper with a lot of responsibility in there. Okay. So I'm basically putting them like in every little gap because I want this to be well supported and for my card to be as beautiful as it can be. And just a reminder, we don't sell 6x6 envelopes, unfortunately. But if you have like an envelope punch board, you can make one. Or I just ordered off of Amazon some clear 6x6 envelopes, and I can show you. Here's one. I think I used it as a storage. So they're 6x6. I just ordered them off of Amazon, and it's a cello envelope in lieu of like the white one, simply because I thought it would be really pretty for people to see through the envelope into the card. So you can always find 6x6 envelopes at Staples or Michael's or even Amazon. But those guys are also available too. And you can mail those cello envelopes. You just have to put like a piece of paper inside with the address that they can see through. But they, I think, count as an oversized card. So in Canada here, it'd be $1.30 to mail it. Okay, so as I said, you can either do this straight on and have a nice little pattern border, or I'm just gonna kind of twist it off kilter, the tiniest bit, still staying kind of on the card, but I wanted to have a little bit of fun. Okay, so now my next step, I told you this was going to have a lot of steps, is to take some of these patterned dies here that also come with the embossing folder and die set, and we're going to cut those out of gold foil. But do you see how detailed these are? They're so detailed that I would have to sit there with my fine tip glue pen or my liquid glue and risk some of it kind of smearing. So your best friend in this scenario is our adhesive sheets. And I should probably have some, yes I do. I have some hanging out here. Okay, these adhesive sheets are in our annual catalog. They are sized 6 by 12, and there's 12 of them in a package. What you do is you basically turn any piece of cardstock into a sticker. So let me do that. This is a scrap because you can of course cut these to any size. And if you put, you'll have to take one of the sides off. There we go. You'll notice one of the sides is sticky and one is plain. So the sticky side you would take and you'd stick onto any sort of cardstock or paper. Just do that quickly for you. Just pick this random balmy blue here. Stick it to your cardstock or your foil like that. And now when I turn this over and place a die on top of this, it will basically create a sticker for me out of this piece. So that's what I did. I took that adhesive sheet and I just made a bunch of sticker parts. So these all, when I'm ready, have the adhesive backing. I just pull that off and I'm ready to stick them into place. Okay, so let me just get that set up. This out of my way. I cut 4 of these. You don't need one for each heart space because then that's a little overwhelming. But I liked that these all were see-through because it wasn't taking away from the designer paper in the back. It was kind of just adding a little something to break up the patterns. Okay, so I made 4 of these and I'm just going to rest them, press them down nicely inside 4 of my hearts. So I went with like the north, east, south, and west kind of pattern, and you can do whatever you wish. So they do blend in to your background, and don't stress about that. It's just like a little detail that you can also take or leave. And one. Okay. Now to keep working on the front here. Okay, so I decided I wanted something to kind of pop out and pop up at me. So I went with one of our new die sets. This is the Everyday Details stamp, which I'm not using today, but the dies that come with it are these beautifully kind of stitched little circles or rectangles. So with the second largest of the circles, I cut out gold, and with the smallest, I cut out white. Now, some of these little circles like to hang around, so you just take your little take your pick tool and poke them out. You will want a nice, fully done circle. Okay, there's the white one. Takes a second, but we'll get them all out. Circles for the gold one. So again, if you really, really were desperate, you could take this gold circle and punch like a tiny leaf out of the middle, but it wasn't as big of an empty space to me as that large square was, so I didn't bother. It's another way to maximize your cardstock and your foils. Here we go. So these two we're going to layer directly on top of one another with some flat adhesive. And I'm sorry, I'm blinding you with the shininess, I know. But I'm going to put those flat. And then we're going to pop the gold one up on dimensionals. Okay. Ooh, sticky. Now, because you have 2 different heights here, you have kind of the designer paper with the hearts popped up, I would suggest only putting dimensionals in this red cardstock area, because you don't want to put this on and have it tilting odd directions because a dimensional's pulling it down. So just grab a couple of your super large dimensionals and make a nice base right in the center here. 3 should be more than fine. And then your circle, your gold circle, can sit on top of that. Oh, that one didn't get poked. Okay. So that's kind of resting now. And now it's up to you how you decorate. So I decided to use one of my extra little hearts. So I just grabbed one from the pile and I'm popping it up on dimensionals as well. And then I wanted some gold. And this is why if you're doing this maybe for multiple people, it would be the best thing ever, because I took that folder and I cut out 9 of these hearts. So I have 9 of them to use. And that's how I have just 1 per kit for me to add to this card. I have one of my nice gold ones. This I'm putting on with a dimensional only on the right side, because I don't want it to be lopsided with my already present red heart. I'm just going to put 1 dimensional there. And if you kind of are worried about it coming apart, you can always go ahead and add a little bit of double-sided tape or glue for the left side of your heart to rest against. Okay, so those guys just kind of go on at a fun little angle. And then, because of course it's fun to fill in the blanks there, we're going to add a little sentiment banner. So this banner is hiding in the Adoring Hearts set. It's right here. And then I'm using just for you this tiny sentiment from the Coordinating Adoring Hearts stamp set. Now this you can stamp either in Real Red or Cherry Cobbler, or if you don't have either, something that kind of complements your scheme. So this one I think is Real Red, and then I was curious to see if I liked Cherry Cobbler, like as a darker potency. Oh, this is fun. You always have to go like right above them. Pardon my head. But if you can look straight down on your sets, it's easier. There we go. Yeah, I kind of like the Cherry Cobbler. It's dark and kind of fits. So to put this guy on, here's where we get to have a little fun. So I, again, want to put this on dimensionals. But if I was to put it on just one dimensional, it kind of looks a little flat. I want it to come above my gold heart. So that means I actually need to make a dimensional tower. And I will show you how to do that. So you're going to start by taking one little dimensional, because remember this is just a little banner, and placing it on your gold heart and one on the white circle. Then the one on the white circle, make sure to take the backing off or this won't work. You're going to put another dimensional. So you have two dimensionals piled up versus one plus the one under the heart. So now we have an even playing field for your little banner to go across. And I know I'm dimensional crazy, but it just makes this card look so stunning to have that height. There we go. And that is the front of your card. Now I had some scraps left over because when I was creating these cards and my card kits, I ended up with some pieces left, and I thought, hey, how pretty would it be for us to decorate the inside? And I'm very used to making like a small little line or something, or putting like a whole huge red circle with white to write on. But I thought it might be fun just to make like a accent feature, and then you could just kind of write a little note on this white space. So if you want to follow along and make that, then here are the measurements for the inside of the card. You will need one piece of Real Red. This is going to be 2 1/4 by 5, 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then a piece of designer paper that's 2 1/2 by 5. Okay, and you'll notice they are different sizes because this was my first version, and I think I maximized my paper a little bit better. So all I was left with were these kind of 2-inch strips, and that's fine. So I ended up with this layer here. Once again, 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, 2 1/2 by 5. We're just putting these on flat with some tape or seal or glue, whatever you like. And it's just a little different way of putting an inside kind of focused piece that hopefully you can just write around. Go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Your other alternative is, of course, to make a large red square. You would want that to be about 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then a white writing plane kind of inside of that, like 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. But I thought this was fun. And then you can just write on the side here. So that's how your card set will look. And just keep in mind, you don't have to do red. I know that's kind of very Valentine's, but some of us might not need a Valentine's card. So you can make this into a wedding card or even just a very like beautiful birthday card simply by changing the color scheme. I would be more than happy to hand this to somebody as a birthday or a special occasion card. I feel like the red is very Valentine's, but then you can kind of change the colors up and just make it for whatever they need. Do you like how my nails almost match? It's kind of, yeah, I put little hearts on there. So I've got a little bit of Valentine's. But there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed today's projects. I know there was a lot to it, and sorry, Ara's howling at a fire truck. And if you had any questions, please message me. I would really appreciate if you could like this video and or subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate your support and your presence. And I hope you guys tune in next week to see what we do with all of these little hearts, because I have a plan for them. Bye.